Hi, Chad here with Purple Car Life. In today's video, we're working inside. I don't know if you can hear it on the roof of the metal building here or not, but it is raining outside. But that's okay, it gives me a good opportunity to go over the Splitfire 2265 with you. We had quite a few comments, people asking, after all my research, why did I choose the Splitfire 2265? This video will answer that question. So I've come up with a list of the 5 primary reasons why we chose to buy the Splitfire 2265 after doing all that research into all the other brands, including Easton Made, Wolf Ridge, Champion, of course the Splitfire, County Line, and multiple other brands that we were considering. So in this video, 5 reasons why we bought the Splitfire. So I've got some notes here to keep myself on track. But reason number 1 that I chose the Splitfire 2265 is value. And there's a big difference between value and cheapest. As we know, usually the cheapest object you're looking at isn't the best one. And that goes from pieces of equipment like this to even contractors. If you get bids on, say, building this building and you've got the cheapest bid, that's probably not your best option. Probably the wise choice is always to look at a couple bids above that, compare them to the cheapest bid, see what the cheapest bid left out, and the difference usually in the end is pretty apparent. So the Splitfire 2265 was not the cheapest we looked at, but I believe it was the best value, and let me tell you a couple reasons why. So the first thing is, this is listed as a consumer quality machine, but after using it and all my research, I think this is closer to a commercial quality machine. And there's a lot of things that give great value to this particular machine, specifically the 2265, which is the lowest price point of the Splitfire offerings. Now, again, especially with the options we've added here, it is more expensive than a box store splitter, but I believe a much better value. Let me swivel this around and I'll show you a couple reasons why. One of the things, even though it's an option, that makes this particular machine that we purchased a great value is the Honda engine. This is the Honda GX200 engine. Super reliable history. If you go back and do research on this particular engine, people who have it seem to love it. They seem to last a long time. It's usually it starts on the first pull engine, so I liked all those things about it. I used a Honda engine for the first time on the Splitfire wood chipper, and I was super impressed with it. So I definitely wanted the Honda engine on whatever splitter I was picking. I believe that's what's part that makes this a good value. Another thing that makes this a good value, it was a $500 adder to get this log lift, worth every penny. Larger logs are always more difficult to get up onto a splitter, and having the log lift, I'm not getting any younger, so lifting those logs up isn't going to get any easier. The logs seem to get heavier and heavier as I get older. The log lift is certainly going to save my back and allow us to cut wood longer into our older ages. Here's another example of value, and this is something very simple, but oftentimes overlooked. This little clip right here on the coupler is something that a lot of companies, when they're trying to find ways to save a little money on their price to make their operating profit a little greater, would say, hey, we can save 49 cents to $1.25 by not including that clip on every machine. And a lot of companies would say, yeah, let's do that. Everyone can buy their own clip. But Splitfire includes things like this. So they don't skimp on what they include. I love that about them. It's a good high quality chain, and it's not even just a regular chain with the S hooks. It's got the clips on them so that they don't fall off when you're connected. So just lots of little fit and finish things like that I think make a big difference when you're looking at options for equipment. Last but not least, as we talk about value of a machine, is the safety factor. So there's a lot of safety built into the engineering of this machine, and we'll talk about some of that when we talk about one of the other reasons we purchased it. Splitfire claims that this machine has unrivaled safety, and I've got a sheet here that explains why. First of all, there is far less area to catch your fingers, and you can see that with the log stops here, they are a narrower design, so that's less area for your finger to get pinched as the log's pushing forward or backward. And that is a big feature. Second thing is, because of the engineering of this design of the log stop, the log will never catapult or fly out sideways. On other splitters that have a flat plate or a push plate, there is a traction and other devices to try and hold the log in place, and that just allows the hydraulic pressure to build up higher, which can cause wood to fly out at stronger pressure. With this particular stop design, the pressure has somewhere to go and is relieved around the stop so that the wood can move laterally. This prevents wood flyouts and obviously can prevent the potential for injury. And the last part of reason number one we purchased this machine, value, is the price. So even with all the options we added on, the log lift, the extended and lowered tongue, the hub wheels, the Honda engine, with all those options, we still were over $3,000 but under $4,000, and that's United States money. This is a Canadian made machine, so I believe we were about $3,600 with just stock. If I didn't get any of those options, this machine I believe is about $2,600 in current pricing today, US dollar value. So for about $3,600, I believe this was a great value. The build quality is excellent. The features we were able to add on, like the log lift, the Honda engine, were worth every penny of the option price that was added into the price, the way we configured it. So that's why I believe this is a good value. Now let's talk about reason number two. Reason number two that I chose the Splitfire 2265 is the size. So we talked about all those great features, the log lift, the dual splitting action, lots of reasons that we wanted this machine. But one of the things I really liked about it was the size, and that's both the footprint size and the weight of it. This machine is about 300 pounds, the way it's configured. So it's not a heavy machine. When you look at other commercial quality machines, you're looking at 700, 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds, 1,500 pounds. And like I said in reason number one, the value, I'm not getting any younger, and as I get older, heavy things feel heavier to me. So the ability for me to just grab this move handle right here and the tongue and swivel this around really easily is huge. It's easier for me to connect to the tractor. It's easier for me to connect to the four-wheeler. It's easier for me to move around in the building like this. Those things would be much harder if this machine weighed 1,000 pounds. And there are machines out there, really good machines, that weigh 800 to 1,500 pounds, and I just wasn't willing to have that much mass behind me as I'm trying to move things around. Another part of size is footprint. You can see, as I easily swivel this around, it's not super wide. The log lift sticks out a little bit beyond the axle size, but it's not a wide machine. It's not a super long machine, and I believe that size was a major factor in choosing this machine. I wanted lightweight but heavy duty, and I wanted small footprint but effective. So we still were able to get the log lift on a small footprint machine with the 2265. Okay, reason number three that I chose the Splitfire is because of the engineering. I'm always impressed with things that are really well engineered, really well thought out, takes into account physics, chemistry, the things that engineers study to make a really good product. That's one of the reasons I bought a Chevy Volt. I think it was really well engineered, and that's certainly one of the reasons I bought this Splitfire 2265. You can see it's not like other machines. It looks different. The more I learned about these log stops, the more I learned about the two-way split technology, the more I learned about the pump and the reservoir and everything being really close to the machine right there, the more I learned about the hydraulic cylinder being encased in this tube, the more I learned about this tube itself and how that moves forward and back. All those things, all that engineering really impressed me. So let's talk a little bit about that. So first of all, the two-way split. You know, I never even thought of it until I saw the Splitfire first video that I ever watched, and I thought, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We always split forward, and then we're hitting that return. Sometimes it's an auto return, which is nice, so you don't have to stand there and wait for it, but it's still wasted energy, wasted time, and the Splitfire two-way split makes a lot of sense in my mind. You put the log here, you can split it in half. The blade is already up here. You just put the log behind it now, move back, and you're splitting as you're returning the blade. A lot of sense, less wasted energy, less wasted gasoline, less wasted time. Second thing about the engineering I really like is this log stop. And I'll be honest, when I first looked at the log stop, I thought, well, that's dumb. The log's not even gonna stay onto it. It's gonna slide to the side, or it's not gonna be able to push hard enough against this little tiny thing. But then I looked into the engineering of it, and it makes a ton of sense. Instead of a flat plate here, that as you push on the log with the plate is actually still squeezing that log shut and requiring more force to cut the wood. This design of the log stop allows that log to open up for the blade to push through it. And that just makes so much sense. That's why 18-ton splitter like this can feel like a 35-ton splitter, because it's well thought out. It's using physics and using the ability of the log stop to allow the wood to open rather than to pinch the blade in between the cut. Now let's talk about this enclosed cylinder. This custom sized and made cylinder is fitted in between the 6-inch square block. Now that provides a lot of protection. It lets you have your cylinder close to your engine and your pump. I mean, look at all this stuff right here in close proximity. Everything is protected and back here away from the process. I love that design. I like the idea that the cylinder's inside there. Something that the engineers thought about when they were choosing where to put the cylinder is that putting it inside this fully protected box frame of the splitter allows it to push straight, pull straight, in line with the slider at all times, and that reduces the loss of power due to friction. So another good engineering design, thinking about all that as they're positioning the cylinder. Now let's talk about this 6-inch square box. The engineers were also thinking about ways to make a stronger splitter. And what they found is that I-beam construction, which is very common with wood splitters. Here at Tractor Supply, they have 3 log splitter options, is actually prone to twisting. And once twisted, it never really works properly again. It creates more bind, requires more pressure from the hydraulic pump, and it never really works the way it was intended. The square tube steel construction of the Splitfire will never twist in that fashion. It's got much more rigidity due to the square shape. The cylinder moving up and back inside of it is all well thought out, and why the square tube, according to Splitfire, is a better design, and I believe them. This square design also allows all that cylinder to be down inside, which allows you to utilize a two-way splitting since your blade is up on top, but the rest is down below. It also allows the splitter to use the low friction slider system. So they use ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, UHMW, which is self-lubricating and is highly resistant to abrasion. It's actually 20 times more resistant to abrasion than carbon steel. Other log splitters use a mechanical slide system that clamps around the edge of the I-beam. We've all seen that in lots of designs. That steel on steel slide wears, it sharpens the edge of that I-beam to a point where it can be sharp to work around. You also have to apply bar and chain oil or some type of oil to keep that lubrication as everything slides back and forth. This system just will last a lot longer, is safer. Another thing, and I already kind of mentioned it, is that I really like the pump, the filter, and the engine all in close proximity. Look at all the longer these hoses have to be, from the reservoir to the pump to the filter and back to the reservoir. So great design here, keeps all those things out of the action, keeps them protected. Okay, reason number 4 coming up next. But if you've watched this video and enjoyed it so far, go ahead and give us a like down below so you don't forget later. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel out, helps other people find this video, and maybe that'll help them make a decision on what splitter works right for them. So number 1 was value, number 2 was size, number 3 was engineering, number 4 was availability. As you know, there's a huge splitter shortage right now. I just made a video about that the other day. And since Splitfire sources all their goods primarily from North America, all their parts, they've still been able to get supplies as they needed. Lead times are a little bit longer than normal, but not massively far out, not 30 weeks out, not 6 months out. They are, 6 to 12 weeks right now, and normally they like to be 3 to 6 weeks on a splitter order. So for me, waiting 6 weeks, that's not a horrible thing. Obviously, we all like to have what we want sooner, but 6-week wait time or 6-week lead time to me was reasonable, especially when you can still get the Honda engine, the log lift, and all the things I wanted to be part of the configuration for this split fire machine. Reason number 5 that I chose the split fire 2265 was because of the branding. And I'm talking about the reliability of the brand, the reviews of the brand, the knowledge of the brand, like we talked about, all those engineering advantages, and then of course the sales knowledge of the people I talked to. Now I would have 0 complaints in dealing with Andrew from Easton Made, Chris from Wolf Ridge, or Kyle here at Splitfire. I asked Kyle probably 1,000 questions over a pretty long range of time. If you remember, I've been doing log splitter research for over a year, and I've emailed Kyle, I've called Kyle, he's texted me, given me all the answers I needed to make an informed decision. And Andrew and Chris were also extremely responsive to my questions. They both make great machines. I don't think you go wrong with a Splitfire, an Easton Made, or a Wolf Ridge. But for my purposes, for my daily routine, the things I need, the Splitfire was perfect for me. A lot of the Easton Made and Wolf Ridge machines were going to be too heavy for me to move around easily. A little bit more production value than I needed. I don't need to split 100 cords a year. I just need to do, 10 to 20 cords a year maximum. So for me, this was the perfect machine. The knowledge of Kyle at Splitfire was unbelievable. He could walk me through why this stock was like this, how the two-way design came about, and what the benefits of it are. How a nice, small, compact machine like this can still have a log lift. How he's able to get the Honda engine and why the Honda engine's a good, reliable option. So all those reasons made Splitfire the perfect machine for me here at Purple Collar Life. So let's review real quick here before we wrap up the 5 reasons we chose the Splitfire 2265. Number 1 was the value. We believe it's the best bang for your buck. It's commercial quality at a consumer price point. Number 2, size. I wanted something lightweight, easily maneuverable, didn't take up a whole bunch of room here as I'm storing it or out in the wood yard. Number 3, engineering. So many great engineering points on this machine. I really appreciate that engineering and design in a piece of equipment, so that was a huge one for me. Number 4, availability. Lead times on these are not that long right now compared to other brands of this quality. So that was another great reason. And number 5, the knowledge of the salesperson. I worked with Kyle at Splitfire. He really directed me through why you want to choose different options or features, this machine versus other machines, and all that was extremely helpful to help me make an informed decision. We posted a couple videos already of us using the Splitfire 2265. We still don't have a ton of hours on it. We've got a lot of rounds left to split. But I can tell you I really enjoyed using this machine. The log lift is the best thing since sliced bread, and couldn't be happier with the Splitfire 2265. Thanks for watching. If you like videos like this and haven't already, click that little like button down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share with your friends if anybody else you know is log splitter shopping. We did a great video a little while back about log splitter shortages and shopping. And then hopefully this video of the 5 reasons why could direct someone to thinking about things they want to consider when they're log splitter shopping. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again the next time. One last thing before I go. Yes, I can run a computer and a chainsaw. I am Chad from Purple Collar Life on YouTube.